Early start this morning. Not even had breakfast yet. Here we go. Oi! Oi!
Good morning.
Bit of professionalism. Get ready, right? Well done. Early start. We're doing this pre-breakfast because you're.
I have to have I've got a confession. I had you on mute.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of that. So
Sorry, viewers, it could be a bit unprofessional this morning. We're a bit of a rush. Dawn's going to take her dad for a checkup at the hospital.
I'm going to take him for an X-ray and then
yeah.
hopefully see the consultant.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, so episode 87, Thursday the 18th of June, 2020. That's why Dawn's looking smart. She's going out to see the medical staff, so you've got to look good for them, haven't you? So
I'm going to put a mask on. They won't even recognise me.
Yeah. And it's raining, which is
it's raining.
So it's my turn to take the dog for a walk when it's raining. Okay, here we go. We had another brilliant get yesterday. I keep saying this, but our big four on the music contest are so impressive. Steve Fury came in, Pet Shop Boys, opportunities in brackets, let's make lots of money, and that's linked to Dollar the day before. So well done, Steve. Oh, it's so exciting, isn't it, Dawn? Hey, this music competition.
No, it's almost as exciting as last night when you decided to start a drone up in the living room.
Yeah, we'll talk about that maybe in a second. So I'm just working out the scores because Steve's on 10.5, Barry is on 11.5, Tony Fulbrook's on 11, and Angie, who doesn't get up in time, is on 8.5 and slipping behind. So, but this could be more Angie's. She's a bit younger than the rest of them. So
hold on a sec. Angie's got a job. Is working. I know Steve is as well, but I mean, it is difficult if you're trying to balance a job, etc. Go on then. Get on with it.
Yeah. Okay. I hope this comes out. Here we go. I'll just turn that. Here we go. So we want the link to Pet Shop Boys opportunities. Let's make lots of money. Reminds me of something else, but there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's today's music.
Probably
feedback. Really nice when we get somebody new giving a bit of feedback, especially after 86 episodes. And Matt Weller, who I used to work with, said how he enjoys watching us every morning. He loves watching, and he particularly enjoyed the Bob Monkhouse joke. Misses him. So thanks very much, Matt, giving me a bit of support on that front.
I think you seriously need to up your game in the comedy area because it just didn't make me laugh.
No, I realise that. That's a bit of a challenge, though. I know you like slapstick. Hubert has suggested that I try some female comedian jokes, but it might have to be X-rated with people like Joan Rivers and people like that. Yeah, but
yes, I mean, I've never liked Joan Rivers. I don't know why, but I never did. But never mind.
I'm looking for one-liners. You see, I think you prefer the long tail, the story.
I prefer Michael McIntyre. I love the little stories like like his son says juice, and that makes me laugh.
Yeah, hilarious.
Well, it doesn't make you laugh, and it's not in context of what he says. But
right, I want to share a photo of Matt because everyone is giving feedback, so their little moment in the spotlight on here. So here's Matt and his wife Claire. There we go.
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, looking very happy. I was trying to find one from when he used to work with us years ago, but couldn't find one quickly because I had to prepare that this morning. But there you go. So, nice to hear from Matt.
Not the best picture, Matt. We do apologise. The production is not what it used to be.
Yeah. Steve Fury agreed with you on the football. Doesn't like it, but Barry Royden does like it and couldn't wait for it to come back. There you go. Split nation.
My little comment to Barry was, come on, they've been playing for the last, God knows how many weeks, highlights, and they started with the blooming World Cup, and one evening, I'm thinking, what the hell? I mean, talk about living in the past.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. But we didn't watch it, did we? We watched something else. We watched the ITV documentary on the Outback with Peter Falconio and Joanne Lees. That was quite interesting.
Uh,
Bit of
it,
an
I,
investigation.
I suppose it's like everything else. You really, I mean, it was very strange, and then you find that there was a positive sighting afterwards, and you do wonder. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. Don't go to it now. Don't
it's
worry.
all theory, isn't it? In a sense, because none of no, they don't sort of like bring the person up at the end, do they?
It's on ITV Hub, ladies and gents, if you want to see it. We've got Steve Fury bringing up the point where he'd organised some training in Moat Park in little groups, all put a lot of work into it, got everyone in separated 2 meters apart, drilled in disciplines, doing it right. And he remarks how some are doing it right and others aren't, and probably the balance is going to flip soon, and people just won't be bothered because there's so many people let it down. There's 50 people playing in Moat football in Moat Park yesterday. Adults, kids, everything. Oh, yeah, it's just yeah. There's the second story yesterday. I heard of that. Somebody else went for a walk and has seen that sort of thing going on in local parks in London. So yeah. And Steve's big thing from yesterday, I don't know how you do it, but that dress we showed with the hoops, he could see all the colours: black, white, blue, gold. So
Yeah, well, as I said to him, is he an alien? But that he did say that was his job, and he's been trained to look at things.
mm, yeah,
So I suppose there are people out there that can see all four colours. I don't really mean it, Steve. I don't think you're an alien, really.
clever though, impressive.
Very, yeah. I mean, I can only see two colours.
Yeah,
I thought I was quite clever, but I'm obviously not.
weird. Grazia, she's pretty sure she's got English sense of humour now rather than Italian, because she doesn't find the Italian jokes very funny. But she did laugh at me laughing at you not laughing. So that's her sense of humour.
It was contagious, your laugh, because you was like, you did a real belly laugh.
Oh dear, I just laugh how different people can be. You know,
Yeah, I know.
we
Like,
do laugh at the same things. We're not totally different, are we? So we do
oh,
laugh.
we do like some things together, etc. And
Hey, Michael McIntyre, that sort of stuff.
yeah, we do like those sort of things together.
Anyway, have you got anything to say? Because I've got a nice juicy subject here. But have
No,
you?
I'll let you get on because my mind's elsewhere at the moment. But
Well, tell your drone story. Go on, give him a laugh. Go on.
oh well, Mark, Mark's son Alexander decided he wanted to get rid of his drone. I think he's used it a couple of times, and he decided he wanted to get rid of it. So Mark's in there putting it all together, etc. And then he decides that he's charged the battery up. Then he decides to sort of like let it hover. So it's literally going up towards the ceiling, and I'm going, and I mean the papers in the lounge are going everywhere. I mean all my little notes, etc. They're flying everywhere, and I'm thinking, this is not the place to have a blooming drone. So I said to him, careful, careful. And the next thing I know, smack straight into my wall and my lovely decorated lounge. And I could have, well, I mean, I hate to say, this is what I said. Beep, 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 beep. Bub, 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 bub.
Yeah, it went from. I don't think I really believed it was going to work after all the hassle putting it together. And then it did work, but it didn't just work a little bit. I thought it was just going to rise up a little bit and just hover a foot off the ground.
Quite powerful. I mean, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it just smashed into the wall. It survived. It's very strong and robust.
Yeah, I know I've got to repair the wall. I mean, honestly.
It's only a little chip. It's only a little chip.
Yeah,
But
you don't know what work goes in to make that little chip look flat, honestly.
no, but look, always look on the bright side of life. It's a good investment because in terms of its robustness, it couldn't get a better test than last night, could it? So that's good.
I tell you what, you'll get a test in a minute.
What's funny? God dear, woke you up. Right. Now, a couple of things came together. One, I was talking to a guy I talk to pretty much once a week at length, Mark Lloyd, who I think he's a bit of a mentor. We talk about all sorts of things. and occasionally we disagree, but we debate mainly athletics, but other little bits and bobs. And we were talking about he was one of the guys who went for the walk and saw all these runners running together and all these people playing football and stuff. Wonder what was going on. And we were also talking about people taking offence, weren't we, yesterday, David?
God, yeah, we were.
And there's something he said triggered something, a thought in me, because I was listening to a podcast and it was with Leon Smith, who was the team manager, head coach, who led the British tennis team to Davis Cup victory with Andy Murray, Jamie Murray and others in it. And they were at the bottom of the bottom a few years before, and he built it up. And one of his comments was, to do that, you build from the bottom up, not from the top down. And basically he was talking about grassroots opportunities in tennis and things like that, and messages to kids, etc. And that reminded me also of, I don't know how true this story is, but Mayor Giuliani in New York, where he wanted to cut the crime rate. So what did he do? He started by clearing up the streets in terms of, people just dossing on the streets, alcohol, people being intoxicated, drunk on the streets, drugs, all this sort of stuff. Probably litter as well, but you know what, you get the message anyway. And Mark was saying that what we're in at the moment is there isn't a quick fix. It's a long-term solution. It has to be a long-term committed solution, a cultural change. And I'm not talking about different ethnicities, that's how I say it, but just a general approach. And I took that to mean like the development of our teenagers. So we all do geography, history, maths, blah, blah, blah. But do we actually spend time on things like how to communicate firmly and fairly and listen to other people, debating properly, how we deal with social media posting, what's right, what's wrong, what are they trying to achieve from it? How do you in a polite way, help to influence other people's opinions? How you particularly deal with being offended at something? We're talking about whether you email, you phone them up, or whatever, or how you word it. All these sorts of things are almost wrapped up together. And if we're going to change, if we're not going to get worse and worse, then perhaps something has to be done either at schools or outside schools to do that, because we're going to, how are our current teenagers going to grow up? How are they going to grow up communicating with each other and dealing with these issues that we're faced with today? That sounded a big speech, didn't it? Crikey.
Yeah, bit deep and meaningful.
Yeah.
Well, to be quite honest with you, I think the way adults behave, or the way that the teenagers pick up on social media, is a bit at fault, because they feel you can say anything. Remember that when you're a teenager, you're just trying to find your feet, so you're like developing, aren't you? And yes, it is about education, etc., but it's also about, if you have to put it in a way that's approachable, and the person is listening to you. I mean, if you go to say, like, someone's been in trouble, etc., you feel you don't want them to spend their whole lives in prison. But if you went to a reform place, you'd probably think, oh my God. And it is about that person, and being able to draw on what, family support, and able to sort of like go forward there. I mean, drugs are different, because once you're in a downward spiral, you do need specialist help. I really don't know how you approach this subject, because even in secondary school, I don't know about you, but we always debated subjects and we always respected other people's opinions. But if you look at the media and the way that they just literally attack, teenagers think that they can behave like that as well. So unless the media starts a different approach and saying, look, I brought you in today and we wanted to discuss this, I don't necessarily agree with your views, and then put their case, rather than the aggression that seems to be forth at this moment. I don't see how it can change. Let me finish, will you? Now you can go.
Oh right, yeah. Well, yeah, I know that's the current media. What we're saying is, if you're going to change the media, you're not going to change it overnight. But hopefully, the next generation will approach it differently. If they're
Hopefully.
brought up differently to deal with it, it's a massive job, of course.
Are
But
you just going to leave it on a wish and a maybe then?
no, but don't forget the main message was starting to build from the bottom up. So that means the youngsters. And
That means
somehow bringing in things that are going to influence them to change eventually the adults, who they become.
I suppose you can look at teachers because you've got good and bad, and I suppose that everybody relates to different people. So maybe that's the way you go, etc. But I just find I think the teenagers are not really grateful. I mean, I must admit we're lucky in the
Oh,
club.
no, don't get into that. No, it's
I
not.
don't know. That's a generalism. I just feel that sometimes that they're not grateful for whatever has happened, and they just get on a bandwagon at that minute in time. They're just literally cherry picking the events that they want to have, a protest about or something like that, and not really.
You said teenagers.
Well,
Adults do it now.
they are teenagers, adults doing it as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't
It's the younger generation of the.
Oh, there's some old boys. There's some Aero. There's one guy going in like this to a police officer, ready to thump him. And what does his family and friends think of him? I wonder. There you go. Anyway,
Well, they probably live their life like that.
Yeah, probably do. Yeah. Anyway, quick Joan Rivers joke to finish on, lighten the mood. My life is like a piece of Swiss cheese. No, my sex life, my love life. Sorry, my love life is like a piece of Swiss cheese. Most of it's missing, and what's left stinks. No, don't like that either. That didn't work. Ladies and gentlemen,
only because the delivery of it was crap. Anyway, goodbye.
Need is some jokes, but you must, if you're going to send me some jokes you think Dawn might listen to, they've got to be one-liners, and you've got to direct message. She's gone. You've got to direct message me because you can't give her give it on the feedback. That'd be hopeless because she'd be able to anticipate it, obviously. So yeah, see if we can find something that makes her laugh. Cheerio.